Jody Shield. I'm a conscious business coach, a self-improvement author, a podcaster, and a digital entrepreneur. And I'm delighted to be talking here at the Happy Place Virtual Festival. I'm going to talk to you about 3 ways to reset your mindset and why it's important to invest into yourself during times like these. Wow, what a very interesting time we are experiencing at the moment. So many things happening at the same time, so many emotions coming up to the surface at the same time, so many events that are happening in our external surroundings that are triggering us at the very same time. No one really knows how to navigate this. No one really understands how to move through this because many of us have not experienced anything like this in our lifetimes, including governments, including politicians. So many of us are figuring this out as we go along, figuring this out based on past experiences. And the problem is that we haven't all experienced things like this in our past. And if we have experienced anything like this before, the likelihood is that it would have felt quite traumatic at the time. And so if we are pulling on past experiences, then we are triggering these old wounds, this old fear, these old uncertain feelings, these worries, the anxieties. And so we're dredging up the past again, and it's playing out for us in the present moment now. There are so many ways forward during this time, and there are so many opinions that people have. There are so many tools and techniques that can be taught at this time. We're all experiencing times like this, uncertain times, in many different ways. I have seen a lot of opportunity. I very quickly experienced my meltdown and then used the tools and techniques that I know and that I practice every single day to pull myself out. And then I reminded myself that the experience of what I'm experiencing is basically down to me. And what I mean by that is it's up to me to create the experience I want to experience. So I really decided that it was time for me to take conscious action and reprogram my mind in such a way where I was strengthening new positive belief systems and stories about myself, about my life, about my career, about my relationship. And I knew that it was on me to make a decision to show up 100% for this reprogramming activity. I needed to show up 100% because otherwise I would get knocked out of alignment, I would get knocked over, I would get triggered every day. And I'm not sitting here telling you that I have it all figured out. Absolutely not. I'm sharing experiences with you. I'm sharing tools with you that really, really work. There are obviously days where I wake up and feel the heavy energy and the uncertainty, and when I feel triggered and when all I want to do is hide under the duvet and not get up and stay in my pajamas, which sometimes I do. However, do I want to move forward? Absolutely. Do I want to feel more positive and better about my life? Absolutely. Do I want to be open to the possibility that I can create my future from the way that I decide to behave and act and think and feel now in this moment? Absolutely. Because you are co-creating your experience of life now. So many people wait until they feel good, until I feel better to start doing some good things and putting some good action steps in place. But the work begins right now. It has to begin right now, because you're creating your future right now. So what do you want your future, therefore, to look like? Because you're creating it in this moment. So the more energy and time and resource you spend on worrying and feeling anxious and feeling low and insecure, which I know all of that is unavoidable, by the way, but the longer we spend on that, the longer we send energy to those feelings, the more they are going to manifest in your future. The more uncertain we're going to feel in our future. So to feel more certain in your future, what you can choose to do is decide to show up 100%. Decide to show up for a powerful practice every day that's going to help you strengthen that mindset muscle. It's going to help you build it. It's going to help you immediately see the old stories that you don't need anymore, that no longer serve you. You're going to be able to see those really quickly. So let's tune in to how to reprogram your mind. So one of the most brilliant tools that I use daily that helps me instantly get out of whatever funk I'm experiencing is to very simply ask myself, what is my mind telling me right now? What is my mind telling me right now? That tool is so useful when you are in a black hole. You know, when you wake up in the morning and you start worrying immediately, you start feeling stressed out immediately, anxious immediately, you feel a bit like flat, right? The reason why you're experiencing those negative emotions, negative vibrations, negative energies is because of a limiting belief or story that your mind is telling you in that moment. So chances are, I know because I've done this many times, chances are you'll wake up in the morning and your mind immediately will start talking to you, and it's so connected to you and it's such a part of you that you won't even hear it talking to you. By the way, this is all very unconscious, but your mind will be talking to you and saying things like, you're not good enough to go out there and be that person that you want to be. It's not possible for you to be successful without a struggle. Look at everybody else around you achieving amazing things and look at where you are. You're never going to be as good as them, as successful as them, as intelligent as them, as big as them. And so it goes on. So your mind is telling you stories, self-limiting beliefs, but I just find it useful to call them stories. Your mind is telling you stories over and over and over again from the moment that you wake up in the morning. And what the story does is it creates a negative emotion in your body. So when you feel anxiety, or when you feel tightness or contraction, or when you feel sick or nauseous, that's because your mind is telling you something on repeat. And what your mind is telling you, it's only a story. It's only a perception. It's not the truth. Even though you might have convinced yourself enough times that it is the truth, that is the truth about myself, all it is a perception. It is only a perception that you're telling yourself over and over and over again. It's a perception. That's all it is. And that's the second tool, is to say, wow, this is a very interesting perception. This is a perception about myself that I've been telling myself over and over again. It's a perception. It's So let's backtrack a moment. The first thing, number one, was when you go into a funk, into a negative headspace, into a spiral, you know exactly what I'm talking about because we've all been there. The fastest way out of that spiral is to ask yourself, what is my mind telling me right now? And the reason that works so geniusly well is because your mind is in fact very obedient. And all it wants to do is give you answers. I mean, it's pretty much trying to give you answers all day long, but they're not very profound or powerful or inspiring answers. So, but if you ask yourself, what's my mind telling me right now? It will go away and try and figure out what it's trying to tell you. But in that going away and trying to figure it out, there's space created. And in that space, you can get flow again. You can get into flow again. And it's a practice of asking yourself, what's my mind telling me right now? Do not expect an answer. It's the practice of asking the question that is important. It's the practice of asking the question. So give it a go. What's my mind telling me right now? I remember I was walking to a shopping center one day and I was just feeling myself just go into this funk. And it was like, my energy was diminishing and I was getting more and more frustrated and I was just so in my head and I was pacing to this shopping center like, rah! And I remembered that tool and I said, what is my mind telling me right now? 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 What's my mind telling me right now? What is my mind? And I just repeated that over and over again. And then all of a sudden, I felt calm again. Because my mind was trying to figure out what it was telling me, but it wasn't sure because it was just all a load of nonsense. And the space that had been created allowed myself to relax again. So it's a genius tool, that one. And it's really quick, very fast, very effective. The second one was to bring a lot of conscious awareness to this very real fact, let's call it a fact because it is a fact, that you have all of these perceptions about yourself that aren't true. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. It's not safe for me to do this. I'm more of a failure than she is. You know, I'm never going to be as successful as they are. They're all perceptions. And the longer you keep believing in these perceptions and buying into these perceptions, the longer you're going to stay in frustration and anxiety. So those things that you're telling yourself, stories, self-limiting beliefs, perceptions, they are only perceptions that you have made up from experiencing things in your past, absolutely, but you've made up those perceptions, made them up. The third thing I want to cover is, okay, so you now have created a bit of separation, a bit of clarity. You're now really understanding that these are perceptions that you're telling yourself. You've called them out a few times. These are perceptions. That's interesting, they're perceptions. Now that you've got a bit of space, how do you then start to reprogram? How do you start to reprogram? So this third tool is probably the most powerful tool of all. And I work with CEOs, music artists, talent, actresses, people at the top of their game, amazing leaders. And they are all doing this. So what you want to do is you want to find a mirror and you want to connect with yourself eye to eye in the mirror. And you want to take some really nice big deep breaths in first of all. And you know what? Your mind is going to be telling you all kinds of stuff to stop you from doing this because you'll think it's cheesy, it's cringeworthy, oh my gosh, it's embarrassing, I can't do this. Allow the mind to just chatter away, watch all the thoughts that come up, but stay 100% focused on this because the amount of success that high performers and high achievers and leaders have with this tool is epic. So you connect with yourself in the mirror, you connect with yourself, you have the intention, this is the key. My intention is to connect to the part of myself who needs to hear this right now. My intention is to connect to the part of me that needs to hear this right now. I'm going to intend to connect to this part of me who needs to hear it right now and then You start telling yourself what you need to hear. And you might start off by simple things, okay? Things like this. Well done for today. If you were doing it in the evening, you might say, well done for today, Jody. My name's Jody, obviously. Well done, Jody, for today. Look at what you got done. Look at what you achieved. You know, you are great. And you might want to try, I believe in you. I believe in you. And it feels really good when I say that to myself, by the way. I believe in you. You've got this. I'm cheering you on every step of the way. I'm going to be cheering you on every step of every way of every day until we pass away and depart this earth. I'm going to be here for you every single day. How does that make you feel? And this little part inside will go, yay! Because all you want is to be told that you're a good person, that I believe in you, that I trust you, that you're great, that you're doing a good job. You know, that's all we ever want to be told, right? So if you can tell yourself those things, that would be amazing. And not only that, but it reprograms your brain, your mindset really fast. I did this every morning and every evening for the duration of a 3-week period, and I felt so radically different at the end. I was clearer in my communication. I felt more fierce in my leadership coaching. I was just really on point. And when I started teaching it to the hundreds and thousands of people who I work with, everybody started feeling the benefits of it as well. It's not always easy to do in the beginning, granted, but stick with it. Give it a try. It's the difference between feeling and amazing. Okay. Thank you so much for listening, for watching. Please replay, take lots of notes. There were 3 really great tools in there. I know that you practicing these tools every day and actually following through and holding yourself accountable, accountability is so important, you will have exponential success with those tools. You can find me over on Instagram at Jody Shield.
If you like that video, there are loads more talks, classes and exclusive videos from the Happy Place Virtual Festival. So don't forget to subscribe on YouTube. Do follow us on Instagram for constant updates and enjoy.